It's wicked, isn't it, to take away a young woman's life like that? Wicked!
Yes, of course it is. Perhaps it's his mother you should kill.
She died 10 years ago, or I certainly would. In the 10th year, Tanya came. I'd let myself go, I suppose. A woman shouldn't do that.
Darlings, that's beautiful. Do you know Tanya? Sonia crocheted those curtains herself. How long did it take?
7 months. It's very fine work. You can't tell it from the original.
Oh, I think I could.
How?
I didn't mean to upset anyone.
That's okay.
Original work is much finer, that's all.
And what do you know about that sort of thing?
Tanya's an interior designer, darling. Does houses up and sells them. Terribly clever. Now, don't look at her legs. Naughty boy. Will make poor Sonia jealous. I brought her down specially for you so she can tell you how clever you are.
The blue's wrong. What did you use? British Standard 23? I know it says Georgian, but actually Georgian is much deeper, much richer. And what a pity you've used man-made fibre for the drapes. It's far too brilliant a white.
Sonia, you didn't.
But I had to be economical. I couldn't afford silk without dipping into my nest egg again, much too deep.
But you should have asked me, Sonia. You have no business spending your savings, making me feel guilty.
But you get so cross when I ask you for money. And I like to help.
But what sort of help is this?
What funny stuff. How strange it feels. Couldn't you tell, darling?
It doesn't matter. Silk or man-made fibre, who cares? Oh dear, what have I started?
It does matter. I do care, very much. All my work, all my effort founded on ignorance and stupidity and an insane desire to economise.
Darling, don't be so unkind to Sonia. She tries so hard. She doesn't know. She's only a singer.
Dancer.
Oh, do come down from there, darling. Why are you ever perching on the top of ladders? I don't understand you young women. By the time I was your age, I was happily married with babies.
Jonathan, you realise you could get a fortune for a place like this?
Oh, he wouldn't dream of selling it. He wouldn't dream of it.
It's completely impossible to have such places in private hands these days. And who wants to, rattling around like peas in a pod? You need to sell. For a conference centre or a health farm or an arts unit or to some religious cult. It's the age of the people, of crowds. You have to go with it. Take the money and run, Jonathan. Isn't that right, Helen?
I'm glad you said it, darling. I would never dare. You know what men are.
Buried down here in the country year after year. I don't know how you stand it. I'm sure I never could. Your work and effort and mud. And a mile to the shops if you want a bottle of gin. The brain rots for lack of decent conversation. So does the self-esteem. It's no place for a woman. You can't wear clothes in the country. Who is there to see them? And as for interior design, it's hopeless. People have dogs.
I don't keep a dog.
No. He keeps me instead.
She's so like the girl your father ran off with. Jonathan, I almost think you do it on purpose, just to tease.
It's not that you expect men to love you forever. But you do expect some warning, don't you, when they mean to stop? You don't expect them to fly in the face of everything they've ever said, every principle they've ever had, without just a little notice.
Men have principles, women pay for them. I've always known that.
Even so, you don't expect them to abandon everything you've slaved and toiled and made sacrifices over. Given the best years of your life for, just at the drop of a hat.
Sonia, I didn't expect you back so early.
I can see that.
How was your mother?
She wouldn't let me in the house, so I came home to get on with some work.
Sonia, you must realise that this isn't your home. You have to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. You've been dependent on Jonathan for too long.
Have you two been doing this sort of thing for long?
This sort of thing? Poor Jonathan.
I tried to tell you, Sonia, but you wouldn't listen.
I want to listen, but I just somehow can't.
Try harder. Tanya and I love each other very much. We're going to be married.
Will your mother like that?
My mother has stood between me and my happiness for too long. She shan't do it any longer.
Well spoken, darling.
Everything from the past has to go. This house and all that goes with it. A new life. Isn't that so, Tanya?
I can see it's hard for you, Sonia. But you're not married to Jonathan. There are no children. These things are easily got over.
11 years.
Well, you had a good time, I imagine, or why else did you do it?
11 years! Spent on what?
On the roof over your head, Sonia. One of the most gracious roofs in the entire country. Tanya's found a buyer. They want to turn it into a health hydro. They'll keep the name. I'll make a fair settlement on you, of course. You have put in quite a bit of labour here. Unskilled, of course, but I'll be as generous as I can be. Of course, we're setting up a property company, Tanya and me, so we shall want all the capital we can get.
Oh, she's mad! Mad! You're right about her, Jonathan. She's mad, miserable and impossible. She ought to be locked up.
What you've done to... I shall never forgive you for this. I just can't abide violent women.
Oh, look at me.
Don't you give her a penny, Jonathan.
You greedy, grasping, uncouth little slut.
I don't want a penny from you, Jonathan. Everything I've done here has been for love of you. And I hope you remember that. But of course, he didn't. And they lived happily ever after. And Bolton Hall became Bolton Health Hydro. And I had nothing. No children, no husband, no home, no career.